I know we lost to Cincinnati,
Oh, you mean I'm not on the right track?
but I left the game more impressed by the Seahawks and underwhelmed by Cincinnati than the other way around. There's some good things you can take out of this game.
What's up?
I mean, a loss is a loss and a win's a win, but at the end of the day, it doesn't necessarily change what I thought about the Seahawks after this week. So I wouldn't say I'm more impressed, but I'd say I'm at the exact same level as I was before the game started.
Are you security on this? You're looking like security.
Everybody's either blaming Geno Smith or the offensive line, and in reality, there's probably a mix of both. Geno played one of his worst games as a Seahawks, but the offensive line really didn't give him any time. Honestly, I think there should be more talk about the offensive game plan, because it seems like everything was a long play rather than trying to help him get quick plays after he's been sacked, I don't know, or at least hit like 20 times.
What's up?
Simply put, Sammy, I don't think Geno Smith was put in a position to succeed on Sunday.
You're listening to the Sports on Tap Seattle podcast. I'm Sammy, and with me, as always, is my older brother, George.
Your favorite place to be a fan of Seattle sports. Now let's get this party started.
Gino, are you ready? Are you ready? You ready?
All right. I just pressed play without any warning, but we are here. It is the Sports on Tap Seattle podcast with me, Sammy.
And me, George. What's going on, guys?
So we didn't do a post-game Sunday because it was a little sad boy day, and we had something to go to. But a tough loss that we should have won, and there was a lot of goal line trips. There was a lot of, fourth downs that we didn't get, and a lot of moments where things could have been very different. A tough loss, just to say the least.
Yeah, but you know what? I kind of left that game more impressed by Seattle and underwhelmed by Cincinnati, to be honest with you. We lost that game. I went into the game thinking we're probably going to lose the game, but our defense really stepped up. Our defense played really good. We didn't necessarily – we have an unhealthy offensive line, and we didn't necessarily give Geno time to throw the ball. If we kicked that first field goal in the fourth quarter and kicked another one, we probably would have won the game. I actually left impressed by the Seahawks. This is not one of those losses I left. I'm like, God, man, this team just doesn't have it. Tough road game, Cincinnati. Almost a must-win for Cincinnati in a weird way. They could not have started off the season 2-4, I don't think, in the AFC, which is a tougher conference in the NFC.
Out of all teams, they might be able to because they've been doing it they've done it twice now where they've been 2-4 and made the playoffs.
Yeah, but it's hard. I mean, 3 times to do that is really difficult.
Just saying.
And in general, I left the game actually impressed by the Seattle Seahawks. There's a lot to work on. But losing the game on the road at Cincinnati, there is actually no shame in that. I would have loved to win the game. I think we had opportunities to win the game. So you leave a little disappointed in that. But I'm not disappointed in the trajectory of the Seattle Seahawks after that game.
Yeah, I think the simple way to look at this is, to most people going into the season, let's forget what we feel going into this week. Going into the season, that looks like one of those routine losses.
Yeah.
Right? You would have assumed we won the games that we've won so far. The Rams one, probably. I would have flipped the Rams one to a win, even though I was a little concerned before that game, as whoever listens to the pod knows. But you would look at it and say, hey, there could be 2 losses in this first 6 weeks. It could have been into either Detroit or in Cincinnati. Right. It flipped where we lost that game at home, but we won that game in Detroit, and then we lost this game in Cincinnati. So it felt almost like a routine, I would say, one of those places on the calendar where you look and say, at Cincinnati, that's not an easy one, right? And that's why I think some people are more optimistic. I'm not more optimistic leaving, but that's why some people are okay with it.
Yeah, I'm not okay with losing ever, but I'm okay with this loss. I mean, we're gonna see it here in a few weeks at Baltimore. That's gonna be a tough place to play. The Seattle Seahawks, we just saw the 49ers go to Cleveland and lose. Going on the road in the NFL is tough. And in general, no team in NFL history outside of the Dolphins in 1972 Dolphins have ever finished undefeated. We're going to have some losses. So if our loss is a 4-point loss where we had a chance to win the game at Cincinnati, yeah, you look at it disappointed in losing, but you look at it also saying, hey, this team's pretty good to be able to go on the road and be able to compete with anyone.
Yeah, I think the problem with that statement, you got to backtrack a little bit and look at this team in a situation. We weren't the undefeated 49ers or the undefeated Eagles who lost in New York. We're not those teams. We're a team that is now 3-2. One more loss, we're at 500, because we also had a bad loss which this wasn't as bad of a loss, obviously, as the Rams one. But the Rams one was at home, and it was to the Rams, who aren't expected to be very good. So the only difference was what you said about, okay, yeah, no one goes undefeated. Totally understand. But we're not the 49ers or Eagles who were undefeated and got our first loss. This is our second loss of the year, and you just said something that's very important. And because you got to play both sides of this game, because there are some people that are less optimistic coming out of this week. There's some people that are even keel. I'd probably say I'm in the same place I was when this week ended as where it started. You have to remember our schedule is pretty messed up. We have a game in Baltimore. We have a 4-week stretch of 49ers, Cowboys, Eagles, 49ers. That 4-game stretch is almost as bad as it gets in the NFL.
Let's just say you lose all 4 of those games. All right? Let's just have fun here for a second. We lose all 4 of those games and we lose the Baltimore game on the road. That puts us at 7 losses and we're 10-7. That's a playoffs team. Like going into the season, you predicted 10-7, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So like, I feel like you're right about that Rams loss was worse.
That's my point is because with that Rams loss, now I'm opening up the possibility that this team has some type of chance to lose a game that they shouldn't lose. This one's different. Like you said, the Cincinnati loss is different. Yeah. It's in Cincinnati. The Rams one opens that small Pandora box of like, can they do that weird shit where they go to Arizona and lose on accident? Can they do that weird like the Rams game makes me think that this team has those little flaws that can expose them for a week. Mm-hmm. But I was just playing devil's advocate for a second. But the big but here is that the Seahawks lost this game for multiple reasons, which is not a good thing, but at the same time, we know the problems, right? Like the defense is not a problem anymore, which I am very thankful to say.
That turned around quick.
Like that is Trey Brown yesterday had the highest grade out of anybody on defense. I think PFF grade. You look at Jamal Adams; he had like stellar grades in the everything but coverage, but he's not much of a coverage guy.
I mean, nothing's changed.
Yeah, but he was like coverage wasn't even bad. He had a better coverage score than Tariq Woolen. I mean, like he was literally pass rush, the rush defense, everything like high scores, tackling high score. This defense is shaping out in the right way, so that's something that's not a concern. Because to hold Cincinnati to what was it, 17 points?
Yeah, 17-13.
Yeah, that's impressive in Cincinnati. That's not a problem. Jamar Chase actually didn't have his best game. Like he didn't play bad. But he had 6 catches, 30 yards. It's not a good game for Jamar Chase. I saw this was the second time in his career he's held under 50% completion, like towards him. His targets.
That means we played a hell of a game. He only kind of diced us up on I think those first 2 drives.
Yeah, and then it slowed down. Well, the whole offense was dead after those first 2 drives for both sides. Almost it was pretty dead for a long time.
Right.
The problem was, and I think you mentioned, is the offensive line. And there's 2 ways to look at it. And I think this is kind of the big topic for this week is if you go on Twitter right now, the blame is mostly either on Geno Smith
or the offensive line.
And the reality is it's both. Because
it's a little bit of both.
It goes hand in hand. Now, Geno Smith played his worst game as a Seattle Seahawk that I've seen. In some senses. But
he made some amazing throws and then made some amazingly horrific decisions at
correct.
the same time.
But like there's also you look at everything if you piece it out specifically. Look at his interception. Now it was a bad throw. He mistimed it, but DK Metcalf also mistimed something, stopped on his route. Stopped. He stopped. Yeah. And that led to an interception.
I was thinking about the Huskies game when Penix threw the interception.
Yeah, that guy slipped. Dunze slipped.
A lot of football this weekend.
DK stopped, that got the interception for Britt. He got up, and because DK was faced the other way, got another 15, 20 yards, which has led to that next field goal they had, which changes the entire game. Right. Because without that moment and that field goal, you might have the Seahawks kicking a field goal to win the game in the fourth quarter. There was little mistakes here and there. And then the defense, or on the offensive line side, it's, they weren't protecting very well for him, but Geno had a really bad ability or really bad choice every time. It felt like when the pocket was collapsing, he stepped into the pocket every time. Yeah. It would get hit. He wasn't trying to overdo his running, which, once again, there's pros and cons to that. We saw in Detroit when he tried to overrun out of a scramble, got tackled, remember, on like the 2-yard line, like a 20-yard loss. But he was not making the best decisions. His offensive line was not looking good. Charles Cross is only on his first week back from injury. Abe Lucas is still out. there are still a lot of things this offensive line is going to improve on and get better with.
Well, we hope.
Yeah. Well, they will. When they get Abe Lucas back, they should be better. It's not going to be next week, they said already.
Well, and the one thing, though, to not blame Geno too much, because I'm definitely not on the blame Geno camp on the holding the ball too long. Look, you play, X amount of games where the offensive line actually did protect him pretty well and he got in some sort of rhythm. Like, there was no rhythm yesterday. Like, it changed the whole entire game plan. And it seems like a lot of our routes, if you go watch them, they were long developing routes. I feel like if you go look, there was a couple times you got sacked and you go see the replay, there's someone open 30 yards downfield and you have to wait for those plays to develop. So I really don't blame Geno. I just don't think he had protection. And I blame him on the interception, though, obviously, but not on the
I don't even blame him on that either, because if DK maybe ran the right route or didn't stop, or
maybe
that seemed like a both of their problems. Yeah. Something happened wrong, but I'm not. It wasn't like an egregious where the hell are you throwing?
Yeah. Well, it looked like it until you saw the replay and DK was on the ground.
Not moving. Yeah. So I think all of that is. You said one thing. It's like the play calling stuff, right? Shane Waldron might have to take some blame on this as well. There's two parts to everything. And I keep saying that because it's very specific that, you can't completely blame an offensive coordinator that your offense is not getting the ball in the end zone. You also can't completely blame your offense if maybe it feels like there's no creativity on the plays or they're not changing the game plan based on what's happening. And that's what 5 red zone trips for 10 points is not very good. And those last horrible. 2 were bad. You have a pick in one of them, and then you had the 4th down sack. The thing that you said that, with play calling and
we had the 4th down. We had a pick, sack, and a 4th down. Got stopped on 4th down.
Twice in the red zone?
Yeah, remember the field? We got the pick, and then we settled. We went for it on 4th down. We didn't get it, and then we got the sack. Before we stopped them on, right?
It must be, because there's 5 red zone trips. We have 10 points, and 1 was a field goal, 1 was a touchdown. So 10 points, and then 3 were wrong. So, yeah. Anywho, the point was, Shane Waldron was obviously, or whoever's making these decisions, was not changing the game plan. And I think you said something that's important. I actually had a conversation with my friend, Austin, who played, Division III football. He understands the game of football probably even a little more than us. Like, he understands how play calling
sound
works.
like we're some coaches or something. That was nice. You made it sound really.
I said he understands more than us.
I know you sound like more than us. Like we're like super smart.
I mean, I know football.
I know.
I played football. I didn't play in college level, but I've played. The thing is, they did not change the game plan even when they were figuring out that Geno is getting half a second. Make some quicker developing plays, some quick slants. Look at the way the Miami off. I'm not saying we don't have Tua and Tyreek Hill, but their offense, the reason Tua is succeeding this year in Miami is because it's just bang, bang, bang. Get somebody open, pass it, get things moving quickly. Geno is getting half a second. You can't keep doing these plays where he's dropping back 5 steps and needs 3 seconds, 4 seconds for the play to develop, and he's already hit. So why not change anything?
But that's how I kind of felt. So I don't think Geno was put in the best situations to succeed, basically, is what I'm saying. And honestly, though, sometimes you come in with a game plan and it gets messed up and it's really hard to adjust, especially when you have worked the whole week on a game plan. It's hard. I'm not saying you shouldn't adjust, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I don't know anything about the game plans, what actually goes behind the scenes, how they change it up. I'm not there to know. Maybe they tried to change it up, it just didn't work. Who knows really what happened? But I don't so many people. I saw someone on Twitter responding to me I'm done with Geno. He should be over. I'm like, what? Geno should be over already? After what, one bad game?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little insane to say Geno should be done. But so far he hasn't looked like he did last year, which is fine because last year was a generationally good year for him. Yeah. And we might not get that Geno where he was almost flawless last year because that was his best year of his career. But I went through PFF rankings today. He's in the top 10 still in offensive rating. He's number 9.
Yeah, he's been fine.
Yeah, he's a fine quarterback to have. We're in a much better situation. This is not shade, but than we had before with Russell Wilson. Yeah. We're in a much better situation than if we had a rookie quarterback. Now you could say future-wise would be better, but I'm just saying in general, today.
Well, you want Bryce Young? Yeah. You've seen how bad he looks in Carolina. Sometimes, here's my problem with that whole entire go get a rookie quarterback. It seems like a lot more of them these days don't hit than hit. Like, unless you're really sure about the guy, like, no, I'll rather have a veteran player playing quarterback than going to get a guy who, the success rate is 20%. Like, have you noticed that lately with quarterbacks? Like, so many of them fail. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they give up on them too quick, or maybe it's just like everyone wants a quarterback, so they reach for quarterbacks in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of like misses in terms of like even back to Sam Darnold's and Zach Wilson now, and Trey Lance hasn't even like gotten a chance because he kept
he's
getting
still
hurt.
on the No, he's on the Cowboys. That's right.
You have a lot of people. Daniel Jones, I know he got a contract, but like you can see that he's not really that guy.
Right.
You have a lot of. I mean, there's a lot more that I probably am missing around. Like Washington was bouncing around quarterbacks until they ended up with Sam Howell, who was he's not like a top 10 pick or anything. Indianapolis has been bouncing around quarterbacks. Got Anthony Richardson, and his biggest concern was he was kind of skinny. Guy gets hit a lot, already hurt. There's not been honestly, over the last couple of years, you've had like Trevor Lawrence, like been great. Who else is a super? Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Yeah, he's a second round pick.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's true. Purdy's a 6th, 7th round.
Yeah.
Last pick. I'm trying to think if there's any like top.
Justin Fields is kind of a bust.
Yeah, he's not that good. I'm trying. Who's like a top 5 pick that's been phenomenal? Trevor Lawrence is good.
Yeah. That's it. That's been phenomenal.
Or like at least like good. I'm trying.
CJ Stroud looks good right now.
I was gonna mention him last because like I can't take too much out of it, but they are what, like they've won two or three games now.
Yeah.
They beat the Saints again this week. Yeah, my goodness. Yeah, the quarterbacks.
Kyler Murray, he got hurt. But
yeah, but he succeeded as like a number 1 pick, and Baker's actually doing okay.
He's doing all right.
Yeah.
But he's bounced around. He's on his 4th team now.
Yeah, because he's had a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
The point of that rant by both of us was there's a lot of top 10 picks, top 20 picks, quarterbacks that have not worked out recently. Now, the ones that worked out were like Mac Jones didn't work either far. The ones that like have worked out is like Trevor Lawrence, who was considered like the best talent in the last 15 years.
Right.
Okay. Like, glad that worked. But outside of that, CJ Stroud, and then so far it looks like a lot of guys are struggling to find their top quarterbacks in the first round. So I think at the end of the day,
Joe Burrow.
Seahawks. Yeah, Joe Burrow's phenomenal. Sorry.
So the guy we just played.
Yeah. But you know what it is. I think everyone understands the point. Like 50, there's probably like a 50% success rate, if not less. Really quick, in the middle of this podcast, if you want to support us in any way, shape, or form possible, you can find us everywhere at Seattle on Tap on social media, YouTube, everywhere. Also, you can go to sportsontapseattle.com, and that's where you can put your email to be part of our giveaways. And we have merch, blogs, find our podcast there, all our social media, and just support the brand.
Simply put, it's a great hub for all things Sports on Tap Seattle. So go check it out. If you like a t-shirt, that'd be great. If you don't like a t-shirt, put your email. Maybe we'll give you something you like one day in your inbox. A little surprise.
That was weird. All right. Go to the hub. See ya. So, at the end of the day, the Seahawks are fine with Geno Smith. He's a fine quarterback to have for our current situation, especially. In the situation of having good receivers, good running backs, offensive line could be better, but it's been okay for most of the year, actually. He's a fine quarterback to have. Now, are we going to win a Super Bowl with Geno Smith? I'm going to lean towards most likely not.
Most likely not.
But
no, I do not.
Are we going to be very successful with them? Yes.
Fair enough. I think in general, though, this is not like a 10-year plan with Geno Smith. This is like a 5-year plan, 3-year plan, maybe even 2-year plan. I don't. My thing is, I know
it's definitely not a 5-year plan.
It's definitely not a 5-year plan. It's a 2-3-year plan, which is fine. Sometimes we saw that with Matt Hasselbeck towards the end when Pete Carroll came. I think when they went and got Matt Flynn, it was going to be a 2-3-year plan. And then Russell Wilson fell into their laps. I kind of just trust this organization in general. Don't know how long Pete's going to be around, but John Schneider's not old, right? Like, you're still going to have that head of the organization, general manager, John Schneider there. So I actually trust them even like in a year, go get a 4th round pick. Maybe he's the quarterback of a future. Shit, maybe Drew Lock is being developed as someone who can potentially take the reins for 2 or 3 years if they don't find the right guy. I'm saying, I'm just saying, you never know if this organization what they're planning for. Yeah. So in general,
I mean, like our quarterbacks have been like the ones have been Matt Hasselbeck and Russell Wilson. And like, neither one were like the Trevor Lawrence out of college or the Andrew Luck.
And we've been to 3 Super Bowls with those quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So
they were both like underappreciated, undervalued like guys.
Yeah. So that's why I'm not really too worried about it. The one thing I just worry about, as you said, I want that offensive line to get healthy, get good, give them time, and that way we can execute the game plan. And if we just executed the game plan a little bit better right now, we'd be 4-2, and we'd be feeling really, really good. 4-1, sorry.
I was going to say, I think pretty sure we're 3-2. And the positive news is moving forward, we do have the Arizona Cardinals up next.
Yeah.
This is no shade to Arizona Cardinals because they've been.
Before you get to the Arizona Cardinals,
this has to do with what we're talking about. No shade to them. They play hard, but those are the type of games where you can have an opportunity for these guys to, if you are the better team, to actually use it as a way to get better. So, like when you mentioned the offensive line and Geno Smith, sometimes these road games in Cincinnati are just really hard, right? And sometimes you need a game like, no offense to these teams again, like the Panthers, where you can kind of just get things going. And like, I feel like a Cincinnati game's tough, and then you get a bad game maybe next, and you can get things going again, and then have a good 2-3 weeks, and then you're going to run into another tough game.
Right, exactly.
That's how NFL schedules work.
100%. And in general, one thing that we do need to do, and I think this is a good time to bring it up now, because I have nothing to add to what you said. You're absolutely right. I do want to talk about some discipline, though. DK Metcalf has... his anger issues have struck again, for lack of better words. Honestly, I know a lot of people will say, oh my God, it cost us. I mean, we got first down the next play to Tyler Lockett.
There has been times in the NFL where it's cost us.
Yes, absolutely.
With DK Metcalf getting like the fourth quarter at the wrong time.
Right, but man, I mean, it's unexcusable anymore. There's zero excuse, actually, for DK Metcalf to make boneheaded decisions anymore. They're just boneheaded decisions. They're dumb. They're stupid decisions. He's not a stupid guy. He's actually very smart, and he probably knows they're stupid decisions, but he just needs to count to 3. Like, I don't know, get him some, like, therapist. Give him, like, I don't know, go down. Not a sponsor of this podcast, but go download Headspace. Get in the right mind. Count to 3 before you just like randomly cheap shot people and get a 15-yard penalty. Like, it can't be that hard to not do it. It can't be.
I mean, it's hard for when you're angry because like
there's a lot of players who are angry on the field.
I've seen you act like a fucking fool. I've seen myself act like a fucking fool in high school basketball.
I know.
Towards a ref. So hold on.
18 years old.
He's like 23.
All right, it's time. Like
no, just hear me out. No, I love when people are hypocrites towards themselves, right? Because I know you know me. I know that I'm not gonna say it would not happen as often as DK Metcalf is doing it, but there would if we were in professional sports. We are definitely like the Patrick Beverly, DK Metcalf. Marcus Smart in basketball. Who is somebody else in football? I don't know. DK's pretty far up there with the guy who gets it every time. We've done some stupid things where we argue with refs or yell at people or do different things because we're overly competitive. So is it hard? Probably. He's in the NFL. He's angry. It's hard to like take it out any other way than the player that's in front of you. But yes, it is a stupid decision. I'm not saying that he should do it. I'm just saying that I'm sure a lot of people think about it. The one small difference is discipline where he just can't like control it for half a second. But I'm sure this happens every week in the NFL. Browns and 49ers had pushing fight before the game.
No, I totally agree.
Every NFL game, I'm assuming on average there's at least one unsportsmanlike conduct.
Sure, but it's not the same player over and over.
I agree. I said he just has 1% worse than most people where he can't stop in that half a second.
Absolutely. And when I was in high school and you were in high school, and we're 18 years old, and we also go to class and do other things. His job is to play football in the NFL, and he's an adult. Like, it's unexcusable. There's no excuse for it anymore. Like, there's not. He should not get another dumb penalty like that the rest of his career. Now, maybe like one, like there's a scrimmage, like they're
career,
fighting.
like let's say the year at least.
No, there's no reason after a play to sheep shot anyone when they're not looking.
I agree with you.
The rest of his career.
This is why I said hypocrites. I don't like when people like take words and make it the wrong thing. I am not saying what he's doing is right or that he should continue to make boneheaded plays. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying I know a lot of people that would end up doing the same thing on accident a few times. He's doing it a little more than a few times, and that's not an excuse for him. I'm just saying I'm not the type of person that's going to sit here and say, like, it should never happen, because there's going to be times where every player, I'm sure, at some point in their career, at least most, like maybe not quarterbacks, or it depends on, like, the position.
Have you ever seen Tyler Lockett do that?
No, but I'm sure he's had an unsportsmanlike conduct.
I know. I'm okay with unsportsmanlike conduct. I'm just saying this specific thing when the play
I'm
is
just
over.
saying, but every player's made, like, boneheaded plays and maybe pushed the guy at the wrong time. Once again, I am not excusing it. Let's stop taking my words out of context. I don't want anybody on the podcast to take my words out of context. I am not saying it's right. I literally, the minute it happened, said this guy is making boneheaded plays every single week. They need to figure this out and get him help, because it's ridiculous. But I'm just saying, when I hear someone say it should never happen, never's a very, very big word, because, like, if you're in the NFL for 10 years, if he plays 10 years in the NFL, it happens one more time, I'd be like, that's pretty good number compared to, like, once a game. So
yeah,
I'm saying that he obviously is a little more hot-headed than most people, so it might happen again. But there's no excuse for week in and week out. Like, I have like 7 clips saved on my bookmarks in Twitter of him shoving somebody after a play, either in the back or like pushing him in the stomach. He claims that he plays till the whistle is blown, but it's like, you know that even if the whistle wasn't blown there, you know you can't just like smack a guy out of nowhere.
Exactly.
Like, it's very immature. The safe way to say it is immature, right?
It is immature, yeah.
Yeah. And I think he knows that.
Yeah, I know he knows that.
He mentions it all the time.
Yeah.
So
because I like DK. He's a smart guy. He just makes dumb decisions. A lot of people are
when he's frustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's very dumb, because he was frustrated when he doesn't get the ball when he's open.
Exactly.
And then you're going to take that out by hitting a guy on the other team while also costing
your team 15 yards.
15 yards, yeah. Not the smartest thing to do. Oh, shucks. DK. All right. Is that everything we got so far?
That's it, man.
All right. We're going to be doing we might have 2 more podcasts this week, potentially. I know we're going to have G. Scott Jr. He's the co-host. He's on Seattle Sports Radio, and he's also co-host of KJ Wright, KJ All Day. He'll be on the pod on Wednesday, so hopefully by Wednesday night or Thursday morning, we'll have that out. And then you never know. We might do another preview one, or we might have a Seattle Mariners one with some guests. So a lot of things happening this week. So make sure you like, subscribe, stay tuned, whether you are listening on the pod or on YouTube. Do something to find out. That is okay. Do something to find out when we have a podcast.
Yeah, do an action today. Make your actions count for the Sports on Tap Seattle.
Yeah, for real. Also, I did want to say one thing
before
we log off. I tweeted this on Seattle on Tap. That's where you can find us everywhere on social media, by the way, at Seattle on Tap. He only played 23 snaps, so I just think this is hilarious. Jake Bobo was the second best PFF grade on the Seahawks offense yesterday. First was right guard Anthony Bradford, which was very surprising, because the rest of the offensive line was like in the red. Jake Bobo with an 80.2. Ahead of Tyler Lockett even. The second best offensive grade. That's pretty impressive. He's making some good catches at random times.
Yeah, he's made some good catches.
He's been better than Jackson Smith and Jigba.
He
crazily.
has, which is great. Good for Jake Bobo. I don't know how long that will last or how long of a career he has, but I hope he has a long and fruitful career.
That was a weird way to
It is, because he runs a 4.99 40.
The 4.99 was not even at the combine. It was at the college pro day, and it was raining, and it was slippery.
I'm telling you, I'm rooting for him.
I'm just saying, he doesn't actually have 4.99. I've read deep into this because I've always wondered, like, that's literally the slowest wide receiver of all time.
Yeah.
But it's technically, if they redid it, like, I think he would
Fair
be a
enough.
little bit faster. Like, I can't run a 4.99, but
Neither can I.
I wonder what you read.
Me, like probably 5.11. I'm kidding.
We're both in, like, the sixes.
6 probably.
I'm like, if we're going to cross the line, I'd be like, that's definitely 4 seconds.
I don't know. I have to look at what's like the average. I'm probably like below average, but like what's
Like
the
slightly, not like
for
crazy.
a human, not for like a football player.
Non-NFL, NBA, like, in 30s.
I'm gonna Google this, Sammy.
5.99.
You know what? Give them some more places where they can find us or something while I look this up.
I think it'd be 5.99.
Do you think 5.9 average 40 speed for 40?
Anyways, while he looks that up, like I said, find us everywhere at Seattle on Tap. That's on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever you might find us. And sportsontapseattle.com is where you can find our merch, all our different things. So make sure you check that out.
So the average 40-yard dash time for an average human is 5.6 seconds.
So we're probably at 6. Flat.
For an average human, you're not slow. An average human, you're not slow. You're probably 5.6.
No, well, you know why though? I think that's like an average person that
No. Average. Normal person.
I know, but you had to test out people doing 40s.
No, they probably just. I don't know. It said normal person for a normal person.
No,
You play basketball.
You know
dude.
what I'm about to do at the gym today.
I am not gonna.
Pull out the strings. Is this 40 yards? And then Achilles. Next episode, Sammy's in a boot. Achilles rupture. All right. Much love, y'all. Message below. What do you think your 40 time is?
And if you want, if we get enough comments, here we go. We should put this right at some point. We maybe make this into a social clip. If we get over 500 comments and 500 likes on this video,
We're not gonna get 500.
I'm saying we gotta get 500. We will do a 40 and post it on our page. Put it on.
Is that intriguing to people? I
Yeah,
would
it
want to
is.
see you do a 40.
I think people want to see me do a 40. Put that on the Sports on Tap. I'll put a little thing. Say go comment and or just like 500 likes on our YouTube video, and we'll do a 40-yard dash on camera.
Intriguing. Very.
I think it is.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, please.
You know what we like to say?
Hey, thanks for stopping by.
Peace.